Welcome back to the Aurora Public Library District's New Wave Memories, Part 3, Tainted Love, 1981 through 1982. And here we are at the last segment of this series. Let's begin by looking at two important developments which took place in 1981 that affected the ways Americans were being exposed to new music. March 21st, 1981, Billboard magazine launched the Rock Albums and Top Tracks chart. This followed the course of many recordings that weren't necessarily top 40 or even Hot 100 songs. Several of the remaining new wave acts would appear here rather than on Billboard's more mainstream survey. Then, on August 1st, a new cable station debuted that, at that time, was strictly devoted to playing music videos 24 hours a day. At its inception, MTV featured a wide gambit of different artists and provided widespread visual samples of the material that was hitting record stores. At first, these videos were still being largely done by emerging bands, but by the end of 1982, MTV's power to generate attention and sales ensured that established acts would jump on the bandwagon to help promote their latest offerings. Here in America, new wave seemed to be losing ground to other more traditional styles of pop and rock. In Britain, however, the music remained very popular throughout the years of 1981 and 1982, so we will begin by taking a look at the chart action across the pond. Several newcomers began making some noise overseas. The biggest new act in Britain was the duo Soft Cell, who had been around for a few years with no sign of success. On the verge of being dropped by their label, they attempted a last-gasp effort and recorded a remake of an old 1965 song, Tainted Love. The song was a sensation and went on to top the UK charts to become the top-selling 45 of the year, over there. American audiences would have to wait until 1982 before this one became a hit on our shores. The album, Non-Stop Erotic Cabaret, featured a second hit, over there, called Bedsitter that reached number 4. Another emerging ensemble was Haircut 100, a band with quite an identity crisis. After stints as Rugby, The Boat Party, Captain Pennyworth, and Moving England, they finally settled on the Haircut 100 moniker and reached number 4 for 2 weeks with Favorite Shirts, Boy Meets Girl. Lead singer Nick Hayward became something of a teen idol thanks to his good looks and prominent placement in the group's music videos. Duran Duran had their first hit with number 5, Girls on Film. While it is difficult to consider the majority of their music new wave, this one title is a good fit. They went on to massive success in their homeland, ultimately scoring 14 top 10 UK hits and 11 American top 10s. Collectively, Duran Duran has sold over 100 million records. Ultravox, incorporating both art rock and glam roots, premiered with Vienna number 2, the first of 17 UK top 40 hits. The song was inspired by the 1949 film The Third Man, about a dead racketeer in that post-war city. Ultravox followed with All Stood Still at number 8 before the end of the year, but they would never have another top 10 single in the UK afterwards. The Scottish group Altered Images was formed by members of the Susie and the Banshees fan club. Hearing that their idols were scheduled for an appearance in Scotland, Altered Images sent out a demo tape in hopes of being the opening act for the show, which resulted in an Epic Records contract. Their first single was called Dead Pop Stars and was a victim of poor timing. The single was released December 8, 1980, the very day that John Lennon was murdered in New York. The massive outpouring of grief over Lennon's death made UK radio hesitant to play this record. As a result, the song only got up to number 67 in Britain. There were much happier results for Altered Images' next 2 singles, Happy Birthday, number 2, and I Could Be Happy, number 7. Visage was a loose aggregation of musicians from different bands, including Midge Ure, who left them to work with Ultravox. According to him, there were too many chiefs in Visage, 6 characters all wanting an equal say without putting in an equal amount of work. Visage were one of the early new romantic acts, and the band made its chart debut with Fade into Grey at number 8 and Mind of a Toy, number 13. Another big winner was the Human League. Lead singer Philip Oakley was recruited to head the band because he looked like a pop star. David Bowie caught one of their early shows, and he felt that the group's use of electronic instrumentation was the future of pop. The Human League started out slowly with Sound of the Crowd at number 12, then hit the top 10 with 3 follow-ups, Love Action, I Believe in Love, number 3, Open Your Heart, number 6, and the major hit Don't You Want Me at number 1 for 2 weeks in 1981 and another 2 weeks in 1982. The Undertones didn't think much of Oki and company, so they released a send-up of the Human League called My Perfect Cousin that reached number 9 in 1980. Of their biggest hit, Oki thought Don't You Want Me was the weakest of the songs included on the Dare album that would become a major seller at home and here in the States. Ultimately, the biggest success story here is Depeche Mode, whose career would encompass 54 UK chart singles and 100 million records sold worldwide. Vince Clarke started the group and was, at first, their major songwriter. In 1981, they placed 2 big singles, New Life at number 11 and Just Can't Get Enough at number 8. Clarke left the group shortly afterwards to start another band, Yazoo. Veteran X also scored with several singles in 1981. Blondie was back with Rapture, landing at number 5 for 2 weeks. The Jam released 3 45s. The first, That's Entertainment, peaked at number 21, but Funeral Pyre and Absolute Beginners both landed at number 4. The Undertones, It's Going to Happen, stalled at number 18. Madness had 3 hits. Return of Los Pomos 7 at number 7. Grey Day, number 4, and It Must Be Love, also at number 4. The Specials saw Ghost Town take them back to number 1, and Gary Newman released She's Got Claws, number 6. The next year saw even more chart action overseas for new wave acts. 2 newcomers included Captain Sensible, who was the former bass player for The Damned, and who hit number 1 with Happy Talk, then number 26 with What? A Flock of Seagulls started out with a minor single, I Ran So Far Away, number 43, then cracked the UK top 10 with Wishing If I Had a Photograph of You, number 10. The New Musical Express later commented about this band, everyone remembers this group now for the singer Mark Score's ridiculous backed-combed haircut. Talk Talk's reissue of a previous single, Talk Talk, netted a number 23 hit, and the follow-up Today put them in the top 20 at number 14. Another set of newcomers, Toto Coelho, Latin with a host of different meanings, debuted with their sole major UK song, I Eat Cannibals, at number 8. Soft Cell continued their winning streak in 1982 with 3 top 5 songs, Say Goodbye, Wave Hello, number 3, Torch, number 2, and What, also at number 3. Adam and the Ants would chart at number 13 with Deutscher Girls. Their last single before lead singer Adam decided to pursue a solo career. He placed 2 more big singles under his own name before the end of the year. Friend or Foe was his biggest lone single, and it reached number 9. The follow-up was at number 1 for 2 weeks, and that was Goody Two Shoes. This song would eventually chart at number 12 stateside in early 1983. The Human League were back with 2 more British hits, Being Boiled, number 6, and Mirror Man, which spent 2 weeks at the number 2 slot. Madness scored their first and only number 1, House of Fun, amid 3 other chart singles before the end of the year, Cardiac Arrest, number 14, Driving in My Car, number 4, and Our House, number 5. Our House would later become their only major US success in 1983, peaking at number 7. Veteran act The Stranglers returned to the top 10 twice in 1982. The bigger of the two songs was Golden Brown at number 2. Strange Little Girl, the follow-up, reached number 7. American dance maven Toni Basil had a major breakout hit with Mickey at number 2. If you check out the video, please note that Toni Basil is wearing her original cheerleading outfit from Las Vegas High School, and it still fit almost 20 years later. Bow Wow Wow scaled the top 10 with a remake of an old Strangelove song from 1965, I Want Candy, number 9. Also at number 9 was Gary Newman's We Take Mystery to Bed. Haircut 100 was back with Love Plus One at number 3, and two more minor top 10s, Fantastic Day, number 9, and Nobody's Fool, also at number 9. Nick Hayward would leave the band shortly thereafter to start a solo career. England's champion new wave band, The Jam, had a banner year with two number 1s, the magnificent R&B-inflected Town Called Malice, and Beat Surrender. Depeche Mode was back, sans Vince Clarke, with 3 more chart entries. See You, number 6, The Meaning of Love, number 12, and Leave in Silence, number 18. Former member Clarke teamed with Alison Moyet to record as Yazoo, or Yaz in the US to avoid confusion with another band. Their debut single, Only You, was a number 2 hit, number 67 here in the US, followed by Don't Go, number 3. They would only last until 1983 when the pair had an acrimonious breakup. Moyet pursued a solo career, and Clarke went on to form Erasure with Andy Bell. Yazoo's Upstairs at Eric's album was a major seller in the UK, but performed much more modestly here in the States. Even so, the LP eventually moved enough copies to be certified platinum by 1989. Several other songs reached the UK Top 20 in 1982. Blondie's Island of Lost Souls peaked at number 11, as did Altered Image's See Those Eyes. Ultravox scored 2 hits with Reap the Wild Wind, number 12, and Him at number 11. Visage was back with The Damned Don't Cry at number 11 and Night Train at number 12. The Clash fell short with Rock the Casbah, number 30, and a much bigger hit in the US in 1983, but they rebounded with Should I Stay or Should I Go, number 17. There are a few more minor singles that charted in Britain during 1982 that deserve some mention. After an extended absence, the Cars returned to the British Top 40 with Since You're Gone at number 37. The Psychedelic Furs debuted with Love My Way at number 42. Despite their massive US success, more on them later, the Go-Go's only UK chart single was Our Lips Are Sealed, number 47. Last up here, let's give a tip of our collective military caps to the Gang of Four's I Love a Man in a Uniform, at number 65. This song was released during Britain's Falklands War campaign with severely limited airplay in the UK. Now it's back to the United States for 1981 and 82. For me, new wave successes appeared to be slowing down in 1981, but this may actually be due to a change in geography. I was living in central Missouri at the time, and radio there concentrated more heavily on top 40 and country music. Also, it seemed as though other genres of pop rock were fighting back for sales and radio attention. At any rate, Blondie led the charge with 2 number 1s, the reggae-inflected The Tide Is High. The Cars returned to the top 40 with Since You're Gone at number 37. The Psychedelic Furs debuted with Love My Way at number 42. Despite their massive US success, more on them later, the Go-Go's only UK chart single was Our Lips Are Sealed, number 47. Last up here, let's give a tip of our collective military caps to the Gang of Four's I Love a Man in a Uniform, at number 65. This song was released during Britain's Falklands War campaign, which severely limited airplay in the UK. Now it's back to the US for 1981 and 82. For me, new wave successes appeared to be slowing down in 1981, but this may actually be due to a change in geography. I was living in central Missouri at the time, and radio there concentrated more heavily on top 40 and country music. Also, it seemed as though other genres of pop rock were fighting back for sales and radio attention. At any rate, Blondie led the charge with 2 number ones, the reggae-inflected The Tide is High, and Rapture. Rapture made history as the first chart topper to include a rap. After these songs, nothing else new wave cracked the American top 10 that year. Only 2 songs would reach top 20 status before the end of 1981. The Greg Kihn Band saw the breakup song, They Don't Write 'Em, reach number 15. The major breakout act of the year was the LA all-girl group, the Go-Go's. They would end the year with Our Lips Are Sealed at number 20. They had the distinction of being the first female-only ensemble that wrote all of its own new songs and to subsequently top the Billboard album chart with their debut LP, Beauty and the Beat. One almost top 40 single was Working in a Coal Mine by Devo at number 43. Honorable mentions go out to Once in a Lifetime, the lead-off single from the Talking Heads' Remain in Light album, a disc that introduced new flavors by incorporating African polyrhythms. The LP is often considered one of the best releases of the decade. Once in a Lifetime's lyrics were chanted or sung in a manner to suggest a preacher delivering a sermon, and Guardian writer Jack Malcolm suggested that the song can be read as an art-pot rumination on the existential ticking time bomb of unchecked consumerism and advancing age. In this context, the catalog of things that you can have are rendered rather meaningless and empty, so the final line of the third verse, "My God, what have I done?" speaks of all the unexplored chances of a life and the waste of time devoted to the gathering of more, and even more. The song, unfortunately, never quite cracked the Hot 100, peaking at 103. Haircut 100 saw their UK release Favorite Shirts, Boy Meets Girl, also fall short over here, landing at number 101, number 50 album rock. One last import, Joy Division's Love Will Tear Us Apart, sadly didn't even come close to making a dent stateside, possibly due to lead singer Ian Curtis's suicide on the eve of a US tour. The remaining members of Joy Division would later regroup as New Order. Most new wave chart action in 1981 moved over to the Rock Tracks survey or onto the US dance charts. On the rock side, Adam and the Ants cracked the top 20 with 3 selections: Dog Eat Dog number 15, Ant Music number 14, also number 19 Dance, and Physical, also at number 19. Police on My Back by The Clash was a number 21 hit. The Pretenders cracked the top 5 with Message of Love at number 5, and The Tubes debuted with Talk to You Later at number 7. More minor hits included Elvis Costello's From a Whisper to a Scream that hit number 46. The Vapors were back with Jimmy Jones at number 39, and Split Enz got up to number 33 with History Never Repeats. On the dance chart, only 2 selections cracked the top 20, the aforementioned Adam and the Ants single Ant Music, and Lena Lovich's New Toy, which also peaked at number 19. Next highest song came courtesy of The Clash, whose Magnificent Seven reached number 21. Heaven 17 formed after a split from the Human League, and they released We Don't Need This Fascist Groove Thing. The song was banned in their homeland thanks to the very left-wing politics in the lyrics, which included a potential for libel about newly elected U.S. President Ronald Reagan. Over here, though, the song was a number 29 dance hit. Altered Images had their only U.S. chart action with I Could Be Happy, number 45. The Boomtown Rats scored with Up All Night at 54, and the B-52s were back with Lava, 52 Girls at number 55. Things in 1982 were much sunnier, however, in the U.S. Let's begin by looking at Blondie's Fall from Grace. The group released Island of Lost Souls, number 37 for 2 weeks, from their new album, The Hunter. Number 33. Both were major disappointments both in terms of sales and quality of the music. I remember rushing out to buy the album when it was first released, and I didn't even get through the first side before I pronounced the rest of it unlistenable. Blondie had always had art rock pretensions, and here they abandoned their strengths to follow a muse who wasn't about to be captured by them. Shortly afterwards, Chris Stein, lead guitarist and significant other of Deborah Harry, came down with a rare autoimmune skin disease, pemphigus vulgaris, and his illness effectively spelled the end of Blondie. He later recovered, and some of the band's original members reformed in 1997. This configuration of the group remains active to the present, although they never recaptured the sales figures of their prime years. Soft Cell finally secured an American release for their huge UK hit from the year before, Tainted Love. The song spent a then-record 19 weeks on the Hot 100 before cracking the top 40 to peak at number 8, number 12 Rock, and number 4 Dance. Two other British imports debuted here in 1982. The Human League topped the charts with Don't You Want Me for 3 weeks, and A Flock of Seagulls, I Ran So Far Away, which stalled outside the top 40 in the UK, did considerably better stateside, peaking at number 9. The Cars had their biggest hit to date in the year with Shake It Up, number 4. Performing even better, the Go-Go's scored their biggest hit early in the year with We Got the Beat. This one sat at number 2 for 3 weeks. They followed this one up with Vacation in the fall that peaked at number 8. Tony Basil's Mickey was a big seller at the year's end, reaching number 1. The last major single was Tommy Two-Tone's 8675309 Jenny, a number 4 hit, number 1 for 3 weeks on the album chart. After these, nothing peaked in the top 20, and only 2 other new wave acts cracked the top 40. Haircut 100 had their only almost US hit with Love Plus One at number 37, and British songstress Kim Wilde's Kids in America was a number 25 hit over here before landing at number 2 in her homeland in 1983. Other Hot 100 entries include Bow Wow Wow's I Want Candy at number 62, number 22 rock chart, Since You're Gone by the Cars at number 41, The Clash reached number 45 with Should I Stay or Should I Go, number 13 rock. New band Missing Persons charted twice in 1982 with Words and Destination Unknown, both peaking at number 42. The latter was number 24 in the dance charts. The Monroes saw their only chart success with What Do All the People Know at number 59, number 20 rock chart. A San Diego group, they managed to get signed to the Japanese label Alpha and released a self-titled EP that included What Do All the People Know. Success seemed to be right outside their grasp. The Monroes were opening shows for Toto, Greg Kihn, and Rick Springfield while the song climbed the charts. Then came the news that their label was abandoning the US market, and with promotion now completely dried up, the EP and single dropped off the charts. Sparks had been around in various configurations since 1967, and even enjoyed some mid-70s success overseas as a teeny bopper band. After returning to the West Coast in 1977, brothers Ron and Russell Mael decided to pursue a more electronic sound. They finally debuted in the US with I Predict at number 60. Talk Talk's self-titled single, number 26 rock, only made it up to number 75. The Waitresses landed a number 62 hit with I Know What Boys Like, number 23 rock. Rachel Sweet, who started performing at age 3, got up to number 72 for 2 weeks with Voodoo. Sadly, her biggest American chart single was the very pop-oriented Everlasting Love, a duet with heartthrob Rex Smith that peaked at number 32 in 1981. Single Bullet Theory, originally hailing from Richmond, Virginia, had a 2-week run at number 78 for their Keep It Tight on Columbia Records. The band recorded a follow-up song called Hang On to Your Heart that was test marketed in the U.S. Virgin Islands and was a huge success there. At that point, Columbia pulled all of the promotion for the band and the single was never nationally released. The group The group broke up shortly afterwards. Yazoo, or Yaz in the States to avoid confusing with another band, topped the dance chart for 4 weeks with Situation, but the song only managed to reach number 73 on the Hot 100. Surprisingly, this song was written as a throwaway B-side of their first major UK hit. Focusing on the rock charts, 4 other titles besides those mentioned above saw some chart action. The Jam finally cracked the US with Town Called Malice at number 31, number 45 Dance. The Plimsolls, formed after Peter Case left the Nerves, were the big winners over here with A Million Miles Away at number 11. The song later appeared in the movie Valley Girl. The Psychedelic Furs reached number 30, number 40 Dance, with Love My Way, and Stan Ridgway's LA band Wall of Voodoo had a number 41 hit with Mexican Radio, number 58 Hot 100 in 1983. And last, let's see what was happening on the US dance charts. The B-52s continued their winning streak with Deep Sleep Mesopotamia Cake at number 13. This Is Radio Clash by The Clash was number 17, number 45 album rock. Josie Cotton scored with Johnny Are You Queer. Depeche Mode's earliest incarnation peaked at number 26 with Just Can't Get Enough. And Duran Duran's 1981 British hit Girls on Film was also number 26. Gang of Four reached number 27 with I Love a Man in a Uniform. The Jam had a second dance hit with Precious at number 45. Romeo Void's Never Say Never was a number 17 hit, number 27 rock. Romeo Void came together at the San Francisco Art Institute. Lead singer Deborah Isle of Native American heritage was a huge Patti Smith fan and decided to attend the Institute after reading a fortune cookie that stated, "Art is your fate, don't debate." The band's moniker reflected the group's rejection of romantic notions. As Isle later stated, "There are not romantic notions here, and there shouldn't be." Never Say Never was recorded in Boston after Rick Ocasek heard the group and subsequently invited them to his studio in Beantown. Romeo Void would place a top 40 hit later on, A Girl in Trouble Is a Temporary Thing, but Columbia Records pulled all promotion for the band, which subsequently broke up. Pete Shelley, formerly of Buzzcocks, hit number 14 with Homo Sapien, a song banned in the UK for its gay-themed lyrics, and Yaz followed up their major song Situation with Don't Go, also a number 1 dance hit for 2 weeks. One of the major constants in life is change, and the music industry is no exception. After a few good years, New Wave's appeal was waning. Many of the acts were shifting into other styles of music, predominantly synth pop, and over in England, the New Romantic movement. Here in the US, it seemed that the bands began to concentrate on more conventional styles of rock and roll. The glory days of the genre were winding to a close. While a few more New Wave-inflected singles would appear on the US charts in 1983, they were mainly holdovers that had already scored in the UK and were finally getting sufficient promotion stateside to have chart runs. As I indicated in the first installment of this series, I already felt New Wave was dead by mid-1983. The music scene was now dominated by Michael Jackson's Thriller album and the massive sales that LP generated, plus the major singles from it, 7 top 10s out of the album's 9 songs, pushed the industry in a different direction. Within a few years, hip-hop and rap would take over, and the dregs of whatever remained of New Wave moved into the college rock format, which wouldn't see a Billboard survey until the modern rock chart debuted in 1988. This would later morph into the alternative chart. Anyway, it was a lot of fun while it lasted, but as George Harrison once wrote, all things must pass. We have now reached the end of this survey. I hope you have checked out some of the video links that were included and possibly found some new songs for your own personal playlists.